So this one is saying, explain 3 legal issues involved when a person who is a resident in Kenya or your country want to purchase a car offered for sale in Japan via a server in Hungary. Assume he's doing online purchase through e-commerce. So the first legal issue that would arise is jurisdiction and applicable law. So to determine the jurisdiction where legal dispute will be resolved and the applicable law that govern that transaction can sometimes be complex. Remember, these are people in different countries. It involves cross-border commerce. So the buyer, the seller, the server location, and even the physical location of the product are all in different countries. So this will raise a question about which country's law will apply to resolve this dispute. So because they are different countries and different countries have different laws. Then the second one is customer protection and regulatory compliance. So online purchase involve customer protection regulations that again will vary from country to country. So in this case, the buyer might be protected by consumer laws in Kenya if he's a Kenyan when making an international purchase. The seller must also adhere to consumer protection law that apply in both the buyer and the seller's jurisdiction. So we have consumer protection and regulatory compliance. Then we have also contract formatting and electronic signature. So the formation of valid and enforceable contract is always very crucial. It is very crucial in e-commerce transactions. There must be valid contracts. Now, different countries, again, have their own laws regarding these contract formattings, how they do electronic signatures and even online agreements. So now the question here is, there must be clear terms of sale, now including this product description, price, payment method, shipping, and even return policies. So now there must be legalities that must be defined or predefined here properly. Then we have data privacy and security. So now this transaction will involve exchange of personal information, even through financial exchange or payment. So this will happen between the buyer and the seller. So now this must raise a question of data privacy and security concern, because each country again has its own data protection law, and ensuring compliance with these laws is crucial to protect these buyers' sensitive information that they have shared or in e-commerce. Then this one says, John B. Lulu intends to implement a cloud computing in his own organization, but he has several concerns about cloud computing. Suggest 3 possible concerns for John B. Lulu. So the first concern that John will have about cloud computing is data security and privacy. One of the primary concerns with cloud computing is the security and privacy of personal or sensitive data, organizational data. So you might worry about how this data will be protected in the cloud, considering the factors such as unauthorized access, data breaches, and even data losses. The second one is vendor lock-in and control. You might be concerned about becoming overly dependent on specific cloud service providers, like being addicted to it. This is also known as what we call vendor lock-in. You might worry that once he migrates his data and processes to the cloud, it could be challenging again to switch the providers or to move back to on-premise solution where he needs to manage his data maybe in a physical location. Also, he might also be worried about downtime and reliability. You know, reliability and uptime of cloud services are crucial for this organization to operate smoothly. His concern could be that there are potential downtime or outages that could impact his business operations, or he could also be questioning himself about the cloud provider's service level agreements. So all this could be running at the head of John Bululu. Then the other question says, one technique for gathering requirements during system development is the use of workshops. Discuss 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of using workshops for requirement gathering. So workshops is where you arrange for physical meeting with the stakeholders, and you get their view, or you gather information from them face to face. So one advantage will be collaboration and stakeholders involvement. So workshops provide a platform for direct collaboration among various stakeholders. So these stakeholders could be people like end users, clients, subject matter experts, and developers. So this involvement ensures that there is diverse perspective and considerations. This will lead to more comprehensive and accurate understanding of these requirements. Then also we have rapid requirement and citation, where this rapid gathering of requirement in a fused and interactive setting, they are able to give their mind, they are able to participate openly in discussion, brainstorming, and even in these sessions of group activities. But again, it has some disadvantages that will come from it. The first disadvantage is time and resource intensivity, because a workshop requires the presence and active participation of these multiple stakeholders. This must need some time. It must be time conscious. There must be an arrangement of time and even resources. You may remember you will need to pay maybe for an hotel or some room that these people will sit in, so that you plan and prepare and even follow up. Then we have group dynamics and dominant voices. So because workshop involves group discussions, and there are people who may be dominating, or they dominate conversations. So not all other stakeholders will voice their concerns. So there are opinions that may be left out because other people have decided to dominate. So those two will be the disadvantages of that. Then question D says, to minimize resistance during system changeover, it is always necessary to involve users. Identify 4 different ways of involving users in the system development process. So yes, we must involve users. The first way of involving users is through user requirement gathering. So you must engage users from very beginning of the project by conducting thorough requirement gathering. You must know through things like interviews, surveys, focus groups. You must understand what are the users looking forward to. What are the problems that they have with the other system that they will need change with this system that you are making. The second one, we have what we call user acceptance testing. So in this testing phase, it involves users they test the system using real world scenario, and then you are able to identify any functional or usability issues. So then now their feedback and testing result will play a very crucial role in refining the system and ensuring that it meets their expectation. Then we have what we call prototyping and iteration development. So you must employ prototyping and iteration development methodologies. This one involves creating maybe a system that mimics or that looks like the real system that will be created. So this approach will allow users to visualize the system progress and make suggestions for improvement along the way. Also, we have user training and workshops. You provide users with training sessions and workshops so that these users get to familiarize themselves with the new system features and even workflows. Then the second part of the question is saying, explain 4 approaches used in system changeover. So when you are transiting from one system to another, what approaches are there to be employed? The first one is direct cutover or immediate conversion. So this is where you just change the system entirely and replace it with a new one. So it is just complete replacement by the new system on a specific date and time. It is just very straightforward. Then we have what we call parallel run. In parallel run, both the old and the new system are opened concurrently for a certain period of time. So this will allow the organization to compare the output of this new one and the old one to see if there is this viability of using this the new system. We also have what we call pilot changeover or pilot implementation. So in pilot implementation, the new system is introduced at a limited portion, maybe from one department, then goes to another department, like that, before completely wiping out or changing the old system. Also, we also can have what we call a phased implementation. So in a phased implementation, this is introducing the new system in stages or in modules. Each module is implemented and tested separately before moving into the next. So that is what we call phased implementation. Then we have the next one was saying, explain the significance of an information center in an organization. So the information center, which is sometimes also known as information resource center or knowledge center, plays a very crucial, significant role in an organization. Why? Because it is serving as a hub of managing, or as a center of managing, organizing, and disseminating information and knowledge. Its significance lies in various functions it performs to support decision making and innovation. So this is where knowledge comes from. This is where if there is anything to be looked upon or to be found out, then there must be some people who are engaged in the information center to disseminate this information and to find out